Hi everyone, it's good to see you again. Welcome back to the community kitchen. Today we're going to make quinoa and spinach patties. Quinoa is a grain from Peru. It's extraordinarily high in protein, and it also happens to be one of the few plant-based complete proteins, which means it has all the amino acids in it that you want for to get a complete protein so that your body does what your body's supposed to do. So we are going to get started. The recipe calls for quinoa, spinach, onions, garlic, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, Parmesan cheese, and breadcrumbs. Also tells you to cook the quinoa, and I've done that ahead of time for us. And what you're doing when you're cooking the quinoa is just as it's finished cooking, you're going to add your chopped spinach to it and throw that in so that the heat from the quinoa wilts everything, which is why it looks like this. I just wanted to show it to you ahead of time because quinoa takes about 20 minutes to cook, so not a long time, but certainly too long for the purposes of this video. So, got it all cooked ahead of time. Now it's just a question of putting our ingredients together and making the patties. So we are going to put the quinoa and the spinach into the bowl. This is done ahead of time because you want it cooled as well. So that is part of the reason for my doing it. So we're going to give that a good mix, but you can see how the spinach is all nicely wilted in there. So that's good. Then we're going to pop in our finely diced onions. Going to put in 3 cloves of minced garlic. Garlic makes everything better. A teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I like using Italian seasoning. It's a really good blend of basil and oregano and thyme, and sometimes garlic, depending on the brand that you buy. Now we're going to put in our Parmesan cheese, breadcrumbs, a pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we're going to whisk up 4 eggs. I'm just going to do them in the quinoa bowl because it's all going back in the same pot. So I'm going to use my spatula. You don't really need a fork. Get this all whisked up. Okay, done. We're going to pour this into the quinoa. I like the flavor of quinoa a lot. I like the texture of it too. It's delicious, I think. Mix this all up so that everything comes together. You're buying breadcrumbs and egg are what's going to bind this together and make them hold their shape. Quinoa is gluten-free. Now, clearly the breadcrumbs are not, but having said that, you can certainly make this gluten-free if you need to cook that way by just using gluten-free breadcrumbs. Easy peasy. So, I'm gonna let that mix up. I'm gonna let it sit for a moment or two to absorb up some of that liquid. Firm these patties up. Make sure everything's evenly distributed throughout the mix. And head over to the stove. How fast was that? So we're gonna fire up the flame, get the frying pan nice and warm. Put in some oil into the bottom of the pan. Even though it's a non-stick frying pan, it's still nice to put a little bit of oil in there. Crisps up the patties, gives it some flavor. And then, and you can make these however big you want. You can can make them small, child size if you like, or you can make them big, adult size. And we're just going to pat them into the frying pan. Make them into a nice shape. Like that. So tasty and healthy, good for you, low in fat, high in fiber. Your spinach in there's a nice good source of iron. Of course, if you've got a bigger frying pan, that helps too. So there, you can see them starting to sizzle. We're just gonna let those sit for 3 to 4 minutes on each side. Give them a flip and then serve them. You can serve them great little bit of a yogurt dip on the side if you wanted to mix up some Greek yogurt with a little bit of Italian seasoning in there and use that on as a sauce over the top, or to dip them in would be very nice. You could put them in a bun if you like. They'd be really tasty with some Swiss cheese on top. So, and this is what they look like when they are fully cooked. So a great little patty. You can knife and fork it, you can bun it, you can do whatever you like with it. So I do hope you enjoy it, and look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.